Hey everyone, welcome back to Cooking with TK. Today, you guys, I have prepared my favorite breakfast. That's right, I want to show you guys what my favorite breakfast is. Okay, I have prepared some delicious scrambled eggs, some homemade biscuits, some delicious bacon cooked perfectly to me, and some cheese grits, creamy cheese grits as well. And look at how big that biscuit turned out and fluffy, and my beautiful scrambled eggs. If you guys would like to know how I make my favorite breakfast, make some creamy grits with a delicious homemade biscuit from scratch and these perfectly cooked scrambled eggs, then get into this video. If you're new to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified each and every time I upload a video. Let's go. Let's get it. Okay, you guys. So the first thing I did was put my bacon in the oven for about 10 minutes. Now I am going to turn my bacon over. This is a thick cut sliced bacon, you guys. I'm going to turn the bacon slices over and I'm going to cook them for about 5 more minutes until they are perfectly cooked, okay? So that's what I'm doing here. I have it on a baking pan. They're laying on the rack because the grease falls to the bottom and the bacon doesn't cook in the grease, and that's how you get it cooked this way. So if you have a pan with a rack in it, that's what you need to cook your bacon on. Okay, so now the bacon is going back in the ovens for about 5 more minutes. As you can see, I also have me some beef smoked sausage as well, and I'm going to put that back in the oven as well. Okay, so here we go with the messy part of me making my Sunday morning favorite breakfast. I'm making homemade biscuits. In the bowl, I have 2 cups of self-rising flour. I did add a pinch of salt. I am going to add a little bit of sugar just for taste. So you can say about 2 tablespoons of sugar. A tablespoon of baking powder. Okay. Even though it's self-rising flour, the baking powder is going to help it rise. Okay. So that's 2 cups of flour. Okay. Now let's move on to our next step. Okay, so I'm going to use 1 stick. You can use 1 stick of butter or margarine, or you can use the Crisco sticks. I had it in the freezer. I keep them in the freezer because I like to make homemade biscuits and cornbread, and I just use it this way because it's easier to shred the butter with a shredder than trying to go in there and chop it and grind it up with your hand. So that's why I have that stick of butter. Okay, so now we're going to move on and we are going to mix the butter and the dry mixture together with our hand until we get like a grainy type texture. And it's going to take you a minute to do that, okay? So while I was mixing up my dry ingredients for my biscuits, my bacon and sausage was done. And I wanted to show you guys how the bacon turned out and the reason why I cook it that way, because this is how I like to cook it. Just like if you go to IHOP, get you some pretty bacon. Yes, love, that bacon turned out perfect. Okay, so now let's put this bacon to the side and let's get back to making our biscuits. Okay, these nice, delicious biscuits mix will get us some heavy whipping cream. That's what I poured in here. I cannot give the exact measurement because I actually used more than the cup that I thought I was going to need, because I did add in more flour because I wanted to make more biscuits. I actually made 2 pans of biscuits, you guys. So I ended up using probably a half a quart. Yeah, about a half a quart of the heavy whipping cream. Heavy whipping cream make in the baking powder and the butter with the self-rising flour made these biscuits so fluffy, you guys. Extremely fluffy. And yeah, instead of 2 cups, I think I used 4 cups of self-rising flour. Okay, so now after I mixed all that together, this is what your biscuit dough should look like. It's gonna be sticky, icky biscuit dough. Now I'm going to get my flour back down, the little bit that I have left, pour it on the counter. And we're going to spread that flour out because we're going to roll that biscuit dough out. As you see, I have my biscuit roller out. Biscuit roller out. Yeah, I am a grandmother, so you know, I got to let my kids see my grandmotherly skills. Okay, so now after you put the flour out on your counter, get that biscuit dough, all of it out the bowl. Okay, it's going to be sticky, so you're going to have to put some flour on your hands as well. Then you're going to pour a little bit more flour on top after you roll it into like a ball, because you don't want the dough to stick to your hands or your rolling pin. And also you can flour up your rolling pin as well. So now I have that flour on top. I'm going to roll this dough down to about 1 to 1.5 inches so that you can get that nice, big, fluffy biscuit. And trust me, you guys, these biscuits turn out extremely well, okay? Now, I don't have a biscuit cutter, so I just used a cup, and I put flour around the rim. This helps to try to make the biscuit dough not stick, so you would have to constantly stop. But, you know, me being me, doing a regular cooking at home, I just did it the way I do it at home. I'm not in a restaurant, so it's not fancy. And that's about the size you want the biscuit. If you want it a little bigger, you want roll it out as flat as I did. Okay, so I'm cutting the biscuits into the shape as you see here. And that's a perfect biscuit shape. So I'm going to place them on a greased baking sheet. You can use cooking spray, oil, but I used butter. I just rubbed it in my pan. And these are our biscuits. We're going to place them in the oven at 425 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes, you guys. Now I'm going to cook my grits. Cook my grits. I put about 6 cups of water into the pot. I turn my stove on high so that we can try to get this water up to boiling. I'm going to put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter in here and a pinch of salt. And we're going to get ready to bring this to a boil. About 3 tablespoons of butter and a pinch of salt. And we're going to get it boiling. Once we get it boiling, we are going to add our grits. That's right. We're going to add our grits. And we're adding about 2 cups of grits. Okay? Just 2 cups of grits to our 6 cups of water. And I use a wire whisk to stir my grits because of the simple fact this is how you get grits creamy. You have to constantly stir your grits, especially when you first put them in. Even if you use a fork, whatever it is that you choose to use, wire whisk works the best when making creamy grits, okay? So now that we have mixed that for about a minute, I'm going to place a top. And I'm going to let it cook for a minute, and I'm going to continuously stir my grits until they're done. And it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to cook the grits unless you got them 5-minute grits. So our biscuits are done, and I'm going to place butter or margarine on the top of my biscuits. And that's how you do it, you guys. And it tastes so delicious. Now I'm going to cook my eggs. This is about 6 eggs. I placed some butter in my pan, allowed the butter to melt. Poured my eggs in, and I did not scramble. And this is how I scramble my eggs. I'm sorry, you guys. I did add a little cheese to my scrambled eggs. Just a little bit, not a lot, you know, because one of my daughters, they don't like cheese. But I do. I love me some cheese eggs. And that's how I scramble my eggs. Okay, you guys. So this is the finished product of my favorite Sunday breakfast. Cheese grits, eggs, scrambled eggs, beef smoked sausage, beautiful, delicious, homemade biscuits from scratch, and perfectly cooked bacon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you picked up some pointers from it. If it is helping you, if you're new at learning how to make breakfast, and especially with the biscuits, trying to make them from scratch, y'all. The ingredients to me that work perfect making biscuits are heavy whipping cream and butter. Make sure that your butter is frozen and use a tablespoon of baking powder, but use less. It's just according to how much you're measuring out. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, share. Leave lots of comments down below and stay tuned to Cooking with TK. I appreciate each and every one of my subscribers. Peace and have a wonderful day.